Hey guys, how's it going? We're getting ready to do Tails.
Tails.
And you know, seeing how Tails is very similar to Sonic, I thought it would be fun to bring something back like what I did with the Sonic playthrough.
Oh?
So, I'm joined by a guest today. His name is Captain Morgan.
And we've also brought our dear friend Jack Daniels.
Well, I don't know which one of y'all is drinking Jack.
That's my dad's choice of drink. I was around that my entire life.
What, Captain or Jack?
Jack. He's like synonymous with Jack in my mind.
I got me Captain Morgan's coconut rum. My girlfriend was telling me, oh my god, you gotta drink Captain Morgan. You can't drink Bacardi. And I'm like, okay.
Ryan, you found
Captain
another
Morgan.
flame?
Yeah, I posted about it. I posted about this on Twitter
I must have missed this.
a while ago.
Rum
Yeah.
and Coke is like my preferred drink of choice. So, and I usually use that. Captain Morgan. So,
I just like rum.
well, I think I do too. I think that's probably one of my favorite kinds.
It is my prefer hard liquor of choice.
I am also inebriated, but not on alcohol.
And given Tails being Tails, yeah, I think I might need it.
Can inebriated be used for anything other than alcohol? Or is
I don't
that
know.
only alcohol?
I think you could probably say under the influence.
Yeah.
Man, it has been a while since I've had like straight rum like this though. I love the animation on this plane, by the way, how it just goes all over the place. Man, Tails, you're dumb. Oh, I love this right here. Camera pans, so dramatic.
I feel like I've seen a shot in an anime that looks like that before. Like
What,
it's probably
where-
in like Guilty Crown or something.
Sword Art Online.
Have you seen Sword Art Online X? I feel like you said you had, right?
I've seen one episode. No, 2 episodes. And I was like, this, I'm not know about this. Because the only reason I tried it is because Ethan and Alonzo liked the first season before they go to Alfheim Online or whatever the fuck.
The first core. Technically not the first season, because the first season includes Alfheim, but yeah, I like the first part of it.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling SAO Season 1, so...
Well, you know what's better than SAO Season 1 is the hit MMO JRPG experience, Final Fantasy XIV, with the free trial with the playing up to level 60, play through the entirety of the award-winning Heaven's Word expansion.
Okay, well, I have a question for you guys.
Yes.
'Cause I just finished the Xenoblade trilogy, which
Yes.
we should probably do a podcast on at some point. While
I'm game.
still
We should get
remember,
Jeb on.
I'm always down to do Xenoblade.
but I should probably finish the DLCs before we do that, just in case.
I mean, I'll be straight with you. I'm not going to do Torna, and I'm not going to do Future Connected.
Okay.
Look, it said Anklet.
If Future
Jet power makes
Connected,
his life faster.
I usually recommend Torna to people, and Future Redeemed also I would recommend. I think they're both pretty good, but Future Connected, I mean, I don't hate it or anything, but I've like come to terms with the fact that it's like a beach episode thing, and that you just sort of have to enjoy it like that, where it's
So
like
it's like
nothing.
Ember Island and Avatar?
Yeah, it's like not offensive or anything, but it's also like not necessary at all. And I guess you could argue Torna isn't necessary either, but it also feels like a substantial story on its own that you could, reasonably...
Yeah.
It like adds to Xenoblade 2, whereas Future Connected, like, it doesn't really necessarily detract or add anything, it just kind of exists. So, and it's not really relevant to anything that happens in the future. Other than Fog Beasts also exist in Future Redeemed, I guess. I don't know. And that's not a spoiler, those were in the trailers.
I need to play Redeemed. I love what they did with my boy Rex.
became a
Like,
big...
everyone, like, I remember when 2 came out, and when that was, like, the newest Xenoblade, people were like, oh, Rex fucking sucks poop.
Well,
I'm like,
some
what are you
people
talking
still
about?
hate Rex a
No.
lot, and I don't
Nah.
know. Like, I get why, I guess, but I really like Rex. I've
Day
always
one, I
loved
liked him.
I think it's because he, like... Part of it's probably because his... Like, no disrespect to his voice actor, I think he actually sounds pretty good when he's not screaming. But, like,
Yes.
Rex trying to scream is
I
laughable
literally said
sometimes.
the exact same thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
And somebody sent me a reply with, I don't know, for whatever reason, Pyra's voice actress is trending today, and I think it's something about Rex's wives.
It's because
I don't want to get into that.
Yeah.
But apparently at some point, a different point, she said something about we had no cutscenes to look at or storyboards. We were just given our lines, and we had to, like, work with that.
Yeah, well, I get the impression that the voice direction on that game was not too great.
Non-existent.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my problem with that game in specific, or with the voice acting anyways.
Yeah, I
Literally
wouldn't
just
really
that.
say it's, like, horrible or anything, but there are definitely, like, you can tell that a lot of lines are a bit stilted. I think, I don't know though, because in 3, while there definitely is some spotty voice acting here and there, I think they did a better job. I don't know.
I thought 3's voice direction was probably about as good as it ever needed to be.
Yeah,
I
think so
couldn't-
too. There's honestly, there's really just like maybe 1 or 2 side characters that sound a little weird, but that was about it.
Like Gondor.
Yeah. You know, I don't actually hate Gondor as much as
Too easy.
I hear anyway. A lot
No,
of
I
people
like
seem to
Gondor.
hate Gondor, but I don't know, like...
I don't hate
love
Gondor, either.
but-
I just, when she started speaking the first time, I was
yeah,
like,
her
what
voice
is this?
is... I think that's probably why a lot of people don't like her, is her voice is a little like...
Well, the
it's not
character
actually,
is
like-
intentionally kind of...
Yeah. She's supposed to be kind of like that, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. But I never really, I don't know. I don't like love Gondor, but I think she's kind of like, makes sense when you think about the kind of family life she leads.
It was pretty bold of Xenoblade to make RZ the main antagonist.
Yeah, well, now you can understand the Endless Now memes. I'm so happy.
Now, Exo, you have to admit that the Endless Now sounds like a pretty good idea when you compare it to playing Sonic Adventure.
Have you ever seen the Endless Now memes going around, Exo?
Is that the one where Zed is like, how many times has it been now?
Yes, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I love that meme so
Which is pretty tragic in context of the game.
much. Yeah. But then people just, it's like one of my favorite memes, honestly.
Good riddance.
We can't let that monster get any bigger.
But at any rate, the reason I bring it up is because the Xenoblade games are supposedly inspired by MMOs.
Emeralds, right?
That they
Yes,
have an
they are.
auto attack, and like the first 2 games have a hotbar. I did
Yeah,
not
they're
play
like-
X, by the way, so I have no idea what that
I didn't
game
really
was like.
finish X. I played like a few hours of it, but I don't know. It almost feels like kind of sacrilege that I haven't finished X, and yet I love Xenoblade so much, but I just haven't.
I mean, I'll say that X has like one of my favorite soundtracks in any video
Yeah,
game
well,
ever.
Hiroyuki Sawano is like one of my favorite composers of all time, so I've always liked that.
That's the one
he-
with the hip hop Los Angeles theme, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Uh,
this one with like Black Tar, but also has Uncontrollable, which is probably one of it's fucking awesome.
well, it's like I'm going to. It's not like I hate the gameplay of Xenoblade exactly.
Yeah,
Like I feel like maybe the first game I kind of hate the gameplay just a little bit,
the
but
Really?
first game at this point, I think, is probably the most like. I've been playing it for a while and I know it pretty well, and I feel like I enjoy it, but certainly after 2 and 3, it feels very like standard.
I was about to say, it just feels like kind of inoffensive.
Yeah,
Like nothing crazy.
Well, that kind of cuts both ways, where I don't feel any bad towards it, but I don't feel any good towards it either. Because it just
I'm pretty
feels
much,
like it plays itself.
I think that it is sufficient, but nothing really beyond. Especially after, I think 2 and 3 make their own kind of strides in different directions. Where 2 is fun because you can kind of break it in half, and like 3 feels like I really like the job system and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool. That in that respect. But yeah, it's probably not like what I come to Xenoblade for necessarily. So I kind of get what you mean there.
Yeah, of course, we could talk about that more in a podcast, but I guess I think my big problem with the gameplay was just that I didn't feel like there was much strategy, or at least not in the same way as a typical turn-based RPG.
Yeah. Not really. No.
It just seems like the game automatically attacks the enemies, and when a bar fills up, you pick that action.
Yeah. Well, that's especially true for 1. Because in 2 and 3, at least, there's like some stuff going on in chain attacks and like building up burst orbs and shit. But like in 1, it's really not that complicated.
I don't know.
It's
I
definitely
was
not my
guessing,
favorite part of Xenoblade.
I guess I was wondering if Final Fantasy 14, because I've seen the pictures, the screen grabs, where there's like 50 hotbar icons on the screen.
Yeah.
So is there like more strategy?
So like,
Okay, what am I doing?
here's the deal with 14. You have opened a can of worms, and I hope you know you can't close it anymore.
Well, we gotta fill up this playthrough somehow.
14's kind of like, it starts out extremely simple. Like, I mean, you played it. I don't doubt you remember most of it, but like, it is very like, there's a few buttons, and they don't really ask you to do very much. But the game kind of, as it scales up, it has a natural difficulty curve where everything becomes like a little more difficult. In the sense that like, I don't know if there's like strategy as much as there is they will build like boss fights where there's a lot of shit on the ground that you have to avoid.
That wasn't too
And the
That's
later
at
on
least
you get,
something.
Ryan can attest to this, because I've had to, you know, take him through some fights here that are a little more difficult than they were in fucking ARR. But it's less that you use strategy and more that the game is harder, because if you get hit with a certain amount of attacks so many times, you're going to die. And it all depends kind of on your party comp, because you're going to go in with a group of randos, and if they're not very good, then they're not very good. So like, it's other than like, if you're looking for an answer of like, is pressing your button strategic? Probably not really. Other than if you want to do the most damage possible, you have to press your buttons in a certain rotation. But that's not at all necessary to like beat the game. So
I see.
that's for like, I do a lot of Savage content, which is the hardest content in the game. And to do that content, you have to press your buttons in a specific rotation. People have kind of likened it to doing like learning a dance routine or learning an instrument, in the sense that you have to press things in a certain rotation or you will not do the most damage possible. And if everyone's not doing what they can do, then they're not going to meet the DPS check for it.
All right.
But that stuff you probably will never engage with, if I'm honest, because it's like, you need to find a group of 7 other people to do it with and shit like that. So
Yeah.
like, I'm in certain discords in what's called a SADX, which is like a pre-made group to do that content. But like, the stuff you would experience, not really strategic, I don't think. The long and short of it.
Because that was like, yeah, you guys all know that Final Fantasy V is my favorite Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a game that opened my mind to trying more traditional JRPGs. And it's like, compared, because the way that how that game works is you pick a class for your characters and you get maxed out abilities up to a certain point. Like you buy spell books to get like level 3 black magic or whatever.
I've played
periodically.
like 10 hours of it. Yeah, and I really
You could fight X-Death in 14. That was actually a really fun fight.
yeah. And that's somehow tied into the story, if you can fucking believe that.
Did they open a gateway to the void and he came out?
The long and short of it is that he's like an artificial construct made by a computer. So
I was
how
gonna
they
say, that
got
was
away with it.
Omega, right?
Yeah, Omega like simulated it. He wasn't actually really X-Death in there.
Okay.
Now, not Omega from Team Dark, it's a different Omega.
I know.
Yeah.
Some character from 14 I don't know about. Is he friends with the handsome stranger?
The handsome stranger.
That's what they called Thancred before you learned his name.
Oh yeah, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, yeah. I don't think Thancred's involved with Omega at all. Actually, that's mostly Sid and everybody else.
And the little chocobo fella.
Yeah.
My favorite was still Alexander.
Alexander's probably still my favorite raid tier as well. The music is fucking awesome. I think Alexander was just some fuck off secret boss in one of the FF games. Like, it's never really. They just took that and they were like, we're gonna make an awesome raid story about this.
Oh my god, you overshot it.
I don't think I've
Please.
ever gotten that much height with the snowboard. What the fuck?
And this is the moment where you guys are going to understand why I saved Tails for last.
Mhm.
Because this is where we do Chaos 4 and Sky Chase again.
Nice, my favorite part of the fucking game.
Yes.
Just what I've always wanted.
I actually think, I mean, like, if I have to really think about this for a while, but I think the Sky Chase shit in SA1 is like the part at which I'm the most unhappy playing SA1. And I know they're like short, but I just, every time I enter it, I'm like, I fucking hate this.
You just kind of want to
like, you
shut
have
the
to
console
sit there
off.
and do nothing for a while.
No way, Knuckles.
Can you imagine Tails standing up to Knuckles like this? That would never happen.
Oh no.
And that's
One of these
something I
days.
wanted to mention. And I think when you and I did that playthrough 100 years ago, Ryan, I mentioned this as well.
I
is that
remember this.
Sonic Adventure
Oh, the emeralds.
is a significant work in the field of postmodernism. Because
I don't even remember us having this conversation.
this would have been
Oh,
an
this-
EPG plays.
Yeah, this was me and Michael.
Oh, I thought we like, okay.
Like, because, how familiar are you guys with postmodernism?
Enlighten me.
I
or
sort of
re-enlighten
know
me.
what it is, but not like,
Hey, those are
like I kind of get it, is how I'll phrase it.
So, pre-modernism is like this is a hugely abridged thing, and I haven't read about any of this stuff in years, so correct me if I'm wrong, comment section, but the pre-modernism is non-scientific. It's like, we know what we know because it's the truth and God told us, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Modernism is like the scientific method and like observation, empirical evidence, stuff like that. And postmodernism argues that there are no universal truths, that everything is subjective. The viewpoint, two people viewing the same phenomenon will come to different conclusions because of the way that they think and their experiences and stuff like that. So postmodern art tends to play around with stuff like that, where it's like challenges our conceptions of what's the truth and what's not.
Yeah.
And I would call this a postmodern work because the dialogue between Sonic and Tails is completely, and the voice acting as well, is completely different.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's really changed is we're viewing this story from Tails' perspective, whereas Sonic's version is from his perspective. And Eggman is much more threatening and intense in Tails' version, whereas he's kind of goofy in Sonic's version.
That's one of my favorite things about this game, actually, yeah. It's fucking awesome. It's like a neat little detail, too, that most people probably don't even notice.
There we go. listen, I'm just a guy. I like this game.
The guy who fucking divorced me.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like I gotta do what's best for me.
True. You know what? You're valid for that.
I appreciate it. That's very mature.
You're valid for divorcing me. It's okay.
Yes. I wonder if people who listen have any idea of like what we're talking about.
No. It was all over a ring pop. All over a ring pop.
It's true. It's true.